Hi, Dr. Patrick Gentempo here, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. We have great content in store for you. I'm so excited to be here with you, and let's jump right into it.
So that's why I became a student of money back in the 80s. And I began looking at, I was a student of R. Buckminster Fuller, a guy who created the geodesic domes and all that. And he wrote a book called Grunch of Giants. Grunch stands for Gross Universal Cash Heist. It's how the ultra-rich steal our wealth. And so when I read Grunch of Giants in '83, I understood what my rich dad was telling me. That's when my rich dad he read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It says the rich don't work for money because our money is toxic, our money is corrupt. Our financial system, or money, is designed to make the rich richer, but keep the poor middle class poorer. And that's why our schools don't teach us about money, because the school system works for the central banks also.
So basically the schools are designed to create
Employees,
an employee mindset.
Correct.
Which is, I guess, in a part survival mindset. You know, you get a job just to provide for your
To work
family.
for money.
Yeah. And
But you learn nothing about money.
right.
Ironic, isn't it?
It's well, look what would happen if you enlightened them about money in school. They wouldn't get out and go work for the bankers.
I don't know. I don't know what would happen. But I think the house of cards is about to come down anyway, because the corruption inside our banking system is at all-time highs. This has happened before in history. It's been going on for thousands of years where the banking system, I'm not blaming bankers. I like my banker a lot because he gives me money. But anyway, the whole system was rigged by the banks. The golden rule. He who controls the gold makes the rules. And so I decided I'd rather be on the banker side than the employee side. It's just a choice.
Yeah. So when you came to that realization, then real estate seems to be your central focus for your investment.
Not really. Okay. People think I'm a real estate guy. I am an entrepreneur. I have many, many different companies. I create jobs. I don't have a job. I don't have an office. I'm not allowed in my own company. See, an entrepreneur is just a free person. That's all it is. You don't ever need money again.
And yet you're, as you said, providing jobs, and you get into these industries. So maybe we can talk about the varying activities, but can we start with real estate and talk about your views of real estate investment?
Well, it's really a business model. Everybody talks about the business. I came in and asked you about your business model. Because every entrepreneur has a different business model. So the model I followed was McDonald's. Ray Kroc. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, in there, my friend interviewed Ray Kroc. He was in the MBA program at the University of Texas. And Ray Kroc asked the MBA class, he said, what business is McDonald's in? And everybody says, you're in hamburgers. And Ray laughed. He says, no, McDonald's is in the real estate business. And so and there was a movie called Founder.
Yes.
With, I think Keaton
Michael
started
Keaton.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in there, he spells it out. The only reason you create a business is to buy real estate. Now, people think, oh, you're a real estate guy. No, that's not true either. So my business, I have Rich Dad, let's say, and I buy probably $500 million worth of real estate out of one company. And the reason I can do that is because real estate is really about debt and taxes, which they never teach you in school. So you understand, the more profits I make, let's say I make $1 million in Rich Dad, I can lever up, I can borrow $5 million to buy a piece of real estate. So I'm using debt to get richer. Most people use debt to get poor, but that takes financial education or literacy, whatever you want to call it. So I buy real estate, and because I have $5 million in real estate, I pay no taxes. So the real game is called debt and taxes. That's why if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the rich don't work for money. I don't have REITs, I don't have ETFs, I don't have mutual funds, I don't have stocks, because I'm an entrepreneur.
So how is it that debt, real estate debt, because a lot of people, you hear them, just prattling about debt is bad, never have debt, you don't want to get into debt, et cetera. You're advocating it and for tax savings, I guess in part for tax savings. So how does that work?
I didn't say tax savings, I said don't pay taxes.
Oh, well, okay, so to eliminate taxes.
Big difference.
Yeah, okay.
That drives people crazy.
Yeah.
How can you not pay taxes? Well, you have to understand tax law. Okay.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah, tax laws are not about not paying taxes. Tax law is incentives. So the government wants you to do certain things. For example, if you donate to a church, they'll give you a tax break. You donate your car to the Kidney Foundation, they give you a tax break, right? So if I buy real estate, give me a tax break. Lovely stuff, because I'm providing housing. If I invest in oil wells, I get a tax break because the government wants energy. If I invest in food production, I get a tax break. And when I borrow $5 million to buy a piece of property, I get a tax break because the government needs me to be in debt. You see, if there's no debt, the economy collapses. The reason, when they dropped the interest rates after that whole central bank, the Fed screw up, they had to drop the interest rate so guys like me would borrow. You know, if they didn't want me to borrow, they'd raise interest rates. So they want me to borrow. When I borrow money, I create money. See, money is only created as debt, bonds. As people don't understand, they don't teach this in school. So the more I borrow, the happier the government gets because I'm actually putting money into the economy. So I borrow, let's say, $5 million. I buy a $5 million piece of property. Then the tax law allows me to appreciate it, depreciate it, and amortize it. Zero taxes. I collect all the income from that property tax-free. That's the game.
Is there ever a day like in the future that comes home to roost, or is it something that you can perpetuate year over year over year?
Yeah. But you've got to be smart. They'll never teach you this in school. You know, I don't know her name, Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris and AOC, they're all saying, let's tax the rich. So if you're over $10 million income, they're going to tax you 70%. Let me wake people up here. You're making $10 million a year. You're not paying any taxes because you can hire the best tax accountants and tax attorneys that the money can buy. So they never tax the rich. They tax the stupid, the uneducated, the misinformed. And it's tragic, and that's why I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know, the rich don't pay taxes legally because the government wants us to do certain things. They're incentives. So when I buy an apartment house, I'm providing housing. I get full tax breaks. When I drill for oil, I don't buy Standard Oil or Chevron or Exxon. If I drill for oil, the day I drill for oil, I get a 70% tax break. The day I drill, day one. Let me say this again, the tax code is not about paying taxes. The tax code is a series of incentives. Say, if you donate to your church, we'll give you a tax break. You grow food, we'll give you a tax break. You produce water, we'll give you a tax break. You provide oil, we'll give you a tax break. You provide real estate, we'll give you a tax break. So if you're paying taxes, you're not helping the government.
Right.
It's a different point of view, that's all I'm saying.
I've always felt and maintained that taxes were more about controlling behavior than they were about collecting revenue, right?
It is.
It's like saying, hey, if you don't do these things, you get punished. If you do them, you get rewarded.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really that simple, isn't it?
Tax code, my accountant, Tom Wheelwright, the smartest guy I know, he wrote a book called Tax-Free Wealth. It's a Rich Dad Advisor book. If you're sick and tired of paying taxes, get the book. It's called Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright, CPA. He's the guy that guides me.
Well, so, and this is where I've always personally felt the pain. I've been an entrepreneur for decades now, generated a lot of income. And what I came to realize after a couple of decades of working nights, working weekends, launching businesses, doing startups, taking risks, doing all the things that entrepreneurs do, is that if you do that and you make regular income doing it, by the time you pay taxes, live any kind of a reasonable lifestyle, put your kids through school, you can't accumulate any real wealth.
No,
it's impossible. Taxes just deplete the ability to have wealth accumulation.
And I'll give you even worse advice.
Yeah.
Worse, I hate to break the bad news to you. You know, so many young people, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, or I'm going to quit my job and become an entrepreneur. The moment you quit your job, become an entrepreneur, you pay higher taxes.
Yeah.
You see, an employee will pay approximately 40%. This is all over the world. Employees pay approximately 40% of their income in taxes. Small entrepreneurs pay 65%. You can't get ahead that way.
No.
So Rich Dad as a company, we educate people about the big business side, the McDonald's side. You know, as Ray Kroc said, my business is real estate. So when I come in here, I'm looking at all your equipment and all this stuff. So this is depreciated at, you know, pretty good rates.
Right.
But if you want long-term, not pay taxes, it's real estate.
Well,
Thanks so much for being here and watching that video. And can I ask you to please subscribe to our channel so you can find out when we're posting new content. You'll be alerted right away when we do. To share this with people you think might benefit from the information, and certainly it helps us if you like the video. So if you like what you just saw, go ahead and hit that like button. And again, thank you so much for being here with me right now.